The 2015-16 Premier League season kicks off on Saturday, August the 8th, but even now the odds are out as to which teams won't make the next season. Here now to discuss the Premier League relegation market is Stuart from TalkingTipsters.com. Now, every year it's pretty common to see the three newly promoted teams as favourites to be relegated, but that is not always the case. Now, last year saw Leicester, Burnley and QPR get promoted, with Burnley and QPR then being relegated. Leicester survived. This season, Bournemouth, Watford and Norwich City have been promoted. So how many teams do you think will likely remain at the end of the season?
Well, much like last season, I think one team will manage to stay up and the other two are going to suffer the ignominy of relegation, the heartbreak that goes along with it as well.
All right, so which team will remain up?
Well, I have to say, I was not particularly impressed by Norwich last season until they got their new manager in, and he came in and things really started to fire for them. And I think that kind of impact he had, I think that's going to carry on. I think they're going to bring in maybe one or two players. They're not going to upset the harmony they've got. They've got players who already have decent Premier League experience, and they've got a manager who seems to be able to get the most out of them and sort of pick up a lot of points last year. For that reason, I'm going to go for Norwich to stay up.
Okay, well, Bournemouth has the shortest odds to stay up, 1.67. Norwich is 1.91 and Watford 2.2. So Norwich's odds of 1.91 there. Is it worth the bet?
Not really. I think you'd want better odds if you're going to put your money into something that's going to be tied up for quite that long. Okay,
now which teams do you have pegged to be relegated?
Well, I have to say, I love the Bournemouth story. I think the story is great, but I think we're going to see similar to what we saw at Burnley last year. A team that comes up, they play vibrant attacking football. They've got a young manager, real vitality to them. But we'd like to see this team go down. We'd like to see them slightly not bolstered by the experience, but hardened by the experience. And I think the manager will pick up, some life experience for it as well. He's still very young. And he's done a fantastic job so far, but I think Bournemouth are going to go down. Watford, I know they've got the backing of the Pozzo family and they've got a lot of experience, but they spent a lot of money bringing players in. They brought a lot of players in. They've also brought a new manager in. I think there's just too many changes. I think we'll see them have a rough start, and I think that will really struggle as well. And then for me, the surprise, I'm going to go for Leicester to go down as the third team. So I bet that's surprising a few. They were the surprise package last season. Nigel Pearson kept them up, and then they've got rid of him. Now, I fully understand why they've done that, but the fact is they brought in Claudio Ranieri, and I really don't think he's got the personality to keep that team together, and I think he's going to frustrate and upset a few people, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him gone by March, and whoever comes in would struggle to keep them up after that.
Okay, well, the top five teams to be relegated. Watford is favourite, 1.75. Norwich comes in priced 2.2. Bournemouth, 2.25. Sunderland, 3.25. And then Leicester there, 5 with Coral. So 5, regardless, I know you've got to wait an entire season, but that's not bad odds there, 5 for Leicester to be relegated.
That's a pretty good set of odds. I'll be fairly happy with that. I might put a little bit on that. It's early days for me to sort out my long-term bets, but I'm looking at that one.
All right, and who do you predict will finish bottom, last place in the Premier League?
I hate to say it, but Bournemouth, I just don't think they've got the squad to stay up. You know, they're a very small team. I think they're just going to struggle.
All right, well, Watford comes again as the lowest there, 3.75. Norwich is 5. Bournemouth, 6.5 there to finish bottom. That's with Ladbrokes, Sunderland, and then Aston Villa, we've got 15. Can you make a stab at the relegation treble? Now, this is where you get into some serious odds.
Yeah, Bournemouth, Watford, and Leicester. I think you get pretty good odds for that.
All right, well, I wasn't sure on your answer here, so that comes in 34. Bournemouth, Watford, and Leicester. 34 with Bet365. Granted, you have to wait an entire season to see a return, but will you be putting money on that bet?
I will be putting a little bit of money on that. I'm not going to put a huge amount on because you've got to have that money tied up so long. But just a small bet, £5–10 maybe. You know, it's nothing that's going to damage my bank. It's not, but it might pay for a meal out at the end of the season.
All right, fantastic. Stuart is from TalkingTipsters.com. If you want to check out TalkingTipsters.com, the link can be found right in the description of this video. Stuart, thank you for joining us today.